Welcome back to another episode of your favourite podcast, Thommo and
Oz.
And very special guest today.
Ned, me.
Hold
Hello.
that to your mouth. DJ.
Hello.
DJ N3DDY T. My brother,
The one and only.
the one and only, the youngest DJ on the scene. You know what I'm saying, bruv.
No. It's not.
Thanks, man. I really did put some time into thinking about that. So, welcome, mate. This
Thank
is the second guest. You're the second guest we've had,
Yep, officially, yep.
I think.
Yeah, I think,
As Thommo and Oz, you're the second guest.
Congratulations. You're on hallowed ground, mate.
Yeah.
You've kicked me out of my seat.
Yeah, he's taking centre stage, so you know it's important.
Pulled out the longer couches for this one.
We've pulled out all the stops. We've got to shout out Jackson. Got an extra mic on deck today, so hopefully the audio is better than it has been in the past with guest episodes.
You've jinxed it, mate.
Yeah, probably have. Yeah. Anyway, Ned, how you been, mate? How are you?
Good. I'm good.
Very grateful to have you on.
I appreciate it. Apart from this lockdown, I've been going great.
Oh, God. We're not in lockdown. This was recorded
Lockdown?
before lockdown.
Yeah, lockdown.
That was ages ago.
So, I had you on this when it was just me doing
Yeah.
Thompson Talks. So, that's lost in the fucking... You probably can still find them somewhere.
In the ether somewhere.
Yeah,
Lost in the archives.
Lost in the archives. So, just give us your shtick here. You started... When did you start DJing? Why did you start making music?
So, I reckon year 7, so I don't know, it was like 6-7 years ago or whatever. I picked up this app on the iPad called Launchpad. And basically, it's the simplest app ever. You click buttons and there you got about 7x7 grid of buttons. You click a button and it plays a loop. And then your loops together and you can create a song out of that. And for so long, I just liked the idea of creating music like that. And then it wasn't until like maybe a few years later that I realised I could actually do that myself. So I started experimenting with that. And then as soon as I got into DJing, I was like, this is what I want to do with my life. And I've stuck by that since then.
So, from what I remember, I remember this app. It was pretty cool. It's a bunch of squares on the iPad or whatever. You press it and you can make your own type of shit. I remember the first kind of realm you delved into was like remixes.
Yeah.
Like you used to remix. I remember there was a Triple J competition for... So it was a Lord song?
Yeah. Homemade Dynamite, I think it was.
Yeah, with like Khalid. And it's a really good song. And the remix you made was sick.
It was very, very different. That's what I remember.
It was different to what you do now. But what made you flip from remixes to like, I want to make my own music?
I guess because remixes are so much easier in terms of ideas. So coming up with ideas, you think of like music has to come from somewhere. And that's generally the hardest thing to think of in a song. But when you've already got a song there and you just, usually I take the vocals and remix that part. It makes it so easier. So when I got a little bit more advanced, I thought, well, stuff the remixes, let me just make my own stuff.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what it advanced into.
Because you started off, your first album was, sorry, I just looked at, I can see on the fridge, there's a picture of your first album,
the L word.
Artwork, the L word. That was like, you always go back and say your inspiration's Flume and stuff. And like, you can really tell like especially in that album, like the influence that he had and the type of, when did you get into Flume? Like when you were, do you reckon you were a Flume fan before you were a fan of making music?
No. So I reckon, to me, Flume was one of those artists that, we all have those artists who we know of, but we don't really keep track of, So Flume was like, I always knew of Flume, and it wasn't until maybe 2015 or 2016 when I started actually going, oh, this guy's pretty cool. And then when he released Skin in 2016, that's when I fell in love with him. But he was never really my inspiration to get into music. I feel like the whole inspiration to get into music was kind of just a mixture of, like the iPad app and the fact that Dad has drums around the house and guitars and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, when Flume sort of became my inspiration, that's when the electronic component came out. And so that's when my style of music now kind of, it was born from Flume, I reckon.
Yeah, well, that definitely helps. Probably your inspiration, the fact that this household was very musical.
Yeah.
Yeah, just on that, you can play like, how many instruments can you play?
Oh. So, I would say 0 because I can't play any of them really good, but I can play bass guitar, drums, violin,
Fuck.
kind of keyboard and piano, kind of. But I find myself like, if I pick up an instrument, I can make it sound good. I can't necessarily play it, but I can make it sound good.
Yeah, well, naturally, as the competitive natures the brothers have, I always remember I was the first one to pick up. I'm the oldest in the family. I was the first one to pick up guitar, and I thought it was okay or whatever. And then you come up and started playing violin as your first instrument, and I was like, yeah, okay, that's
awesome.
There actually is a photo of me and you when we were really little, sitting right here. I was playing the violin and you were playing your guitar.
I will have to try and find that photo. And
That's
if I
awesome.
can find it, it's right here. If I can't, it's not. When you started playing, I don't know what the gap was between you playing like violin and anything else, but I remember you getting a bass guitar not even that long ago. Like a few years ago, maybe?
I think it was 3 now.
3 years
3
ago.
years.
And I just remember you picking it up and like starting to play it and whatever. And then like a week later, I was hearing you play like all of these songs that I know.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like that's just the ability to just instantly pick up an instrument and then seeing you swap to guitar as well and pick that up just like that.
Yeah.
Like it was ridiculously fast.
I blame it all on the fact that we were surrounded with instruments as a kid.
Yeah, we really were.
Because I would just, after school, go and pick up an instrument and play it. Wasn't any good at it, but the fact that I just play it meant that I got better and better. And then I think over the past 5 years, naturally music has just gotten into me. So I'll pick something up and I'll make it sound good.
Yeah. Well, I think that's something that maybe a lot of people don't understand about your music is that it's actually a lot of real music elements.
Oh, yeah. So this is really, you'll like this. On the new album, there is a few songs with guitar in it. And all of the guitar parts were recorded from your very first electric guitar, which is hanging up in my room.
Oh, let's go.
So there's a little shout out.
So
to
you had a lot to do with it, I would say, Jack. You
I'd like to think so.
You might get
I was like the foreground of this whole operation. Without me, there wouldn't be no DJ.
you might get a credit.
might get a feature.
Yeah, but that's for real. The thing that I don't think a lot of people understand is that a lot of your music, the music elements of your songs, actually are real instruments, and not as much as it's a tech sort of EDM. I'll get into that in a second, actually. But like, there is a lot of real stuff behind it. It's not just all beep boop left right computer numbers.
So I just posted a video on my Instagram account, DJ_N3DDY_T.
We'll make sure that's all in the comments and everything.
Basically, I made a song a few weeks ago. Just one night, I got real emotional and made a song. And the song has my bass guitar, my electric guitar, my vocals, and a bit of piano in it, and that's it. So there's no electronic components to it. It's just a song, which is, again, I like to think of it as my kind of style of music. It's not directly electronic, but it's just, it kind of fits into this little ball.
You got your own sort of niche, if you will.
That's that's fascinating because like I'm not like a very creative kind of artistic person, but from like the outside looking in, I just find that so fascinating. So like, do you sort of wait for something to inspire you to make something, or do you always kind of have something inside that you need to like get out? Or
what I've found is that I'm a very, very emotional person. Like, I take everything to heart, so everything is emotion, like revolved around emotion. But a lot of like, a lot of my songs are based around girls and my feelings towards love and all that. And when I just feel shit or down or whatever, I'll always turn to music, because even in the moment, if I'm bawling my eyes out in my room at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'll write a melody and then leave it. And then the next day I'll create a song around that. And it won't be just a song that I've made. It'll be a memory from how I was feeling.
wow.
So I like to, my music's kind of more emotional based rather than just bang a bass.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it goes back to that thing that I think I've said it on this podcast a million times. With listening to albums and stuff, there's like big reason to listen to albums in order these days. 'Cause
Yeah.
a lot of artists
Like the concept, the idea of a concept
a lot of artists
album.
build a story out of whatever, like 12-track album, and the L Word's like a massive example of that, because you were massive on pushing when you first released it. Like, it's not just music, it's like a whole story
Yeah.
from start to finish. So building on that, is the next album like that as well?
Yes and no. So I've made the songs in order, which means that when a song ends, it'll, kind of
Oh, I
go
fucking
into the next
I
one.
love that shit.
Yeah.
But there's not really a story to it. I kind of just, with this album, wanted to showcase my talent rather than make a story.
Yeah.
There is, all the songs have meaning to them and stuff, but it's more of just, here's music, there you go. But yeah, all the songs do go into each other, so
Dude,
do
that's
listen
awesome.
to it in
yeah.
order if you can.
Well, yeah, we see like TikTok. I think I sent you one. It's like Pink Floyd. Like a lot of the
Yeah.
Pink Floyd
Well,
albums, they
just
flow into each other, and
And-
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I love that whole concept of album.
I gotta say, I'm definitely not the only one that's like extremely excited for this album. We've got a few mates that are just hanging out for it. So from start to finish, well, first of all, yes or no, is the album done?
Yes.
Okay. So from start to finish, when did you start writing this album, making it to the date that it got done? How long has it taken you?
I kind of started, so it's a bit weird. Last year, just after my birthday, was the last time I released music, and that's when I started making more music, and that's kind of when the album started, but I didn't realize it would be an album until the start of this year was when I said I'm going to make an album. So I got the songs that I've already previously made and put them into a group or whatever, but I've only just finished it probably 2 days ago.
Oh, weird.
So maybe a year in the making, which has kind of given me a lot of time to perfect the songs as well, rather than rush them and just get out whatever I can.
Yeah. And I have to throw in a shout out to, you're going to have to help me with his name, Cody
Do It Hayes.
Hayes, who does Ned's artwork. Because the artwork on the L Word is just like some of the coolest shit I've ever seen. Are we expecting a run it back? Is Cody going to back it up with another stunner?
So this is really cool. He went above and beyond for this one. Basically, he's got big canvases, big canvases, and he's done paintings on them. He's done 4 paintings, I think. So 4 different variations of them. And one of them will be the actual album cover. But it's exactly the same style. I kind of gave him a rundown of what I wanted, and he just drew it and painted it, and it's unreal. I'm so keen for everyone to see it.
That's awesome.
He's so talented.
Massive shout out to Cody, because that like art in general, like doing what you do and then stuff like that, just blows my mind. Like how you can have the ability to make something that cool,
And you get 2 of them together.
Yeah.
and that's Then it's gone global.
So do we have a name for the project yet, or are you keeping that
We
under
do,
wraps, mate?
We
or?
do. I've told a few of my friends, but this will be the first time publicly.
Exclusive, Thommo and Oz exclusive.
We don't want to force you into it, mate. If you want to keep
I
it,
was planning to tell it. So have you guys heard of King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard?
Of course.
heard of you.
So basically, I had this one night, like the start of the year, where I just listened to all their music. I'm like, geez, this stuff's a vibe. And then the next day, I came up with this. I think I just woke up, and the first words I said was the album cover title. And so it's called Conquest of the Electronic Beast of the West.
That is
awesome.
an album
Yeah.
name. Conquest. Say it again.
Conquest of the Electronic Beast of the West.
Conquest of the Electronic Beast of the West.
That's
Yeah.
say that 5 times fast, mate.
Basically, the idea behind it was that there's a beast, an electronic beast, and the whole album is trying to conquer that beast using electronic music and stuff. That's kind of just the rough idea that I got, but just that name came out, and I'm like, yep, that's it.
That's
sick.
fucking sick, man.
So
I love that.
my slow brain can't get the acronym for that right now. C Conquest.
Of the electronic beast from the west.
Anyway,
Moving on.
that's what. Well, if you heard it here first, guys, Conquest of the Electronic Beast of the West. I've already got it down pat. This
Dude,
is
that's
already my
awesome.
favourite album.
It rolls off the tongue once you know it.
So, in saying the name of the album, the how long it's taken you, and all this sort of stuff, have we got a release date yet?
See, this is the thing I'm struggling with. We don't at the moment. there's been some delays with COVID and stuff. I've had plans and I've had to push it all back. I can say within a few weeks though.
Within a few weeks. So this podcast will be up on Friday it'll be some early August. I don't know what the date exactly is. It'll be this Friday. We're recording it on a Monday. So expect the album soon-ish. Yeah, I can't wait.
That's awesome, dude. So, how did you feel when you were like, you knew you were done? Like, you knew it was finished?
So, I cannot give you the feeling because it was just incredible. It's like having that heaps of different songs just scattered around. It's such a and then finally having just the one project where it's just the one folder and it says the name and it's just all done. It's unreal.
Yeah,
and
dude.
to think that I've been working on it for a very long time as well.
That's awesome.
And it's something I'm really proud of.
You should be, man. Because I was thinking like with that Bo Burnham inside, there's like a bit towards the end when he's like, he doesn't want to finish it almost because he likes having something to keep working on.
Yeah.
And he's like, so it must be kind of hard to like, in a way hard to kind of like let go of the project and like, it's like, well, it's finished now, so now what, kind of?
Yeah, well, yeah, in jumping straight off that is when you finish, as you said, you've finished the album, what does your mind go to now? Are you in like album release mode or are you like still making more music for the new record or?
So, I am in album release mode where like I've finished the album, but I haven't finished it all because I'm now working on doing a live set of the album. So each individual song I'm playing live on like my MIDI controllers and using my instruments where I can. Yeah. Building a set for when COVID kind of dies down and we're allowed to have big sets and concerts out in town and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, I then go to like working on singles rather than big projects. Yeah, well, that's something you haven't really done heaps is singles, because I think, did you have singles for the last album? I think it was all... No, I didn't, no. So are you planning on doing maybe a single drop for this album, or are you just going to drop the album again? The plan was to drop a single for this album. Yeah. But again, plans changed. Just a lot of stuff happened. So I said, no, I'd rather just wait, put out the whole album and then do singles later. Like, more like actual proper singles. Yeah. Well, we can't wait for that shit. We're in such a dry spell for music in general, I feel. So new music is going to be really like what a lot of people need to hear right now.
That's awesome.
And I love how you say you're preparing for potential live performances. I've seen you do just DJ sets, not like your own music, but actual DJ sets. And like the ability...
Your 21st birthday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
That was great. We love that.
My girlfriend Jess and her brother Jackson's joint 21st, you DJ'd for us. And you have like it's almost like a God-given ability. Like it's not something you just pick up of crowd control. Like you know when to play the right songs at the right time to get everyone sort of... And what I loved when you did our party last year, I'm not going to remember which one of our mates it was, you will, but people would come up and stand next to you and stare at you while you were doing this, because I think a lot of people genuinely thought DJing was just the kind of flick that one, it's the next song and stuff. But then they watch your screen and like you building the songs together and picking what goes next and stuff. A lot of people don't appreciate how cool it actually is. It was just... just have vivid memories of people just standing there with a beer, just like,
dude,
it's alright, isn't it? It's different.
You can't teach that.
You can't teach that.
So one of your mates was standing next to me for an hour and a half, which I love because I got to tell someone what I was doing and how I was doing it. But yeah, it was so fun because it was like DJ. When I say my name's DJ N3DDY T, everyone just assumes that I just DJ, but there's so much more to it. It's like, you can have a DJ where you just click buttons and you put song after song. Anyone can do it. It's no talent there. But to actually put on a set that people enjoy and like the crowd is like, oh yeah, I'm actually liking this DJ. Yeah. Is a different thing.
Well, I would ask you what your inspiration for your name is, but it is your name. Yeah. With DJ in front of it. When you started like making music, did you actually want to like make something out of it, or were you just enjoying making it?
From the first time I ever kind of put two things together and they sounded good, I said from there that I want to do this for a living. So it's always been my goal to make money from it rather than just doing it as a hobby, which is why I went straight to a music school after graduating year 12.
Well, I want to talk about that as well. So you go down to, well, not at the moment. Well, we're not in lockdown, so it doesn't matter. But down to school in Melbourne for music. I always forget what the actual...
It's called SAE.
SAE.
I don't know what it stands for. So.
We just call it music school down here. So, is that what you chalked it up to be? Is that... Does that actually help you in creating your music?
So I went into this school with the intention of not in particularly getting a job out of it, because I know as an art form you can't just be given a job in like what I want to do anyway.
Yeah.
But I went in thinking that I need to know the professional skills and how industry standard stuff works, and it's exactly like that. We've got some of my teachers are just unreal producers, and they've given me tips that I would never have taught myself or never have learned.
Yeah.
Not only for making music, but for making a living out of it as well. So it's awesome. It's exactly what I wanted. And
I know you've had some pretty sick experiences. I think you were telling me you had Alex Leahy come in one time and give you a talk.
Alex Leahy and Gordy came into our school. We've got like a sound room, huge sound room where we practice like bands and live lighting and sound and stuff. They came in and just did like a talk for an hour and a half about the industry. And I sat right in front, obviously getting the front row view. But yeah, they do stuff like that all the time, which is unreal.
Yeah. Well, I think it's another thing that's underappreciated in your sort of industry that you're in is the behind the scenes work of artists these days. Because like back in say like Pink Floyd era, when it was like you're a band, you just go down to a pub, you get your name out, and then it's like, oh, they're cool, I'll go listen to them again.
Well, yeah, it's so much more like word of mouth and radio kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And now with your sort of position that you're in, you've got so many different like ways to facilitate your music to the public, like through Spotify, whatever, through live performance, and then it's word of mouth is still massive. Yeah. Like I listen to it because I'm your brother, and then I'll tell my friends who listen to it, and then I'll tell their friends. Now you're on the biggest podcast in the world. So it's funny. It's a funny industry, and it's really interesting to see that you're actually like really well versed in the kind of shit bits of the industry. Like you know that you're not just going to go like that and be fluent.
Oh yeah. Which
is probably something that a lot of people that start this don't understand. So,
it's not overnight.
Yeah, it's a grind. And as you say, you're 20 years old.
Yeah.
And you reckon you've been doing this for what, six years?
Odd years, yeah.
So you started when you were 14. Like,
pretty much, yeah.
The ability to understand that it doesn't just come overnight and you've already put that much effort in is like, even just in just about everything these days, people don't understand that you can't just go like that and blow up. So having, the knowledge and obviously going to a school that's like furthering your kind of the intricacies of the industry is really, really cool to see. When you were, I remember, I think we talked about this on when it was the Thompson Talks. When you were in school and you were thinking about going to this SAE, the school that we don't know the actual name for, were you prepared for like backlash or like, because it's kind of against the norm to go do something like that instead of like a university or a...
I kind of got really lucky because I'm someone who just doesn't care what people think. And
wish I had that.
Yeah. Everyone knows it about me, but it's like I don't care at all. Like you can think what you want to think about me, but I'm living my life. This is what I want to do. This is who I want to be. And also I've got the best friends in the world. So when I kind of I just remember like at year 10, that's kind of when our friendship group formed. I was kind of like, oh, well, I want to do music for a living. And everyone was just like, oh, yes, do it. Go do it. And so they haven't changed that opinion at all. So I don't even think I know one person who says that I should do something different.
Yeah.
Because everyone's just so supportive.
Well, I was going to say, our family as well is such a massive web of, like, we've got a huge family. And everyone just sort of knows that it's like DJ N3DDY T. Like a lot of people in our family actually call you DJ.
Yeah.
Like that's just how it goes.
That's awesome.
So
I feel like a lot of people our age might kind of feel that because it's like you hear about someone doing something cool like DJing like you are. We kind of hear that and we think, fuck yeah.
Yeah,
Fuck,
exactly.
go do that. That's awesome.
For a lot of people, it's like, oh, that'd be something cool to do. But,
Yeah.
oh, I don't want to sway
It's
from
like
the norm.
he's just fucking doing it.
Yeah, and you're literally living out what probably a lot of people wish they could do. Which
It's very hard because, like, I know that I'm not going to be able to make a living off this until I get to that point, which I don't know how or when I'll get to that point. But all I know is that I just have to keep working hard.
Yeah.
And it's been proven that, you know, hard work pays off. So
exactly.
it's all I'm doing,
Oh,
working
you've
hard.
got the bass down real good. And in saying that, everyone knows who you are. So we put a big thing up on our story.
Yeah.
Ask for some questions. So
Move on to the
let's
questions.
jump into some questions. We got a few questions from some of your biggest fans, some of your good friends. I'm just going to quickly check that our video is still recording while Oscar takes control.
That might be a good idea. So we're just going to jump into some questions. We put up an Instagram story yesterday.
Yes, we did.
And some people kindly send us some questions, so we'll get started. First one from your mum, guys.
Oh.
Are you glad we named you Ned?
Absolutely.
Cheers.
Ned is just the coolest name, I reckon. And it's not Edward as well. Like, people assume, oh, Ned's short for Edward. It's just Ned. It's such a unique name, and I think it suits my personality as well.
Can I just quickly... Like, why is Edward shortened to Ned
Yeah,
anyway?
God knows.
It's like Richard and Dick. It's like these weird ones.
Or like, what's Robert and Bill? Is that one?
Really?
I've never heard
Robert
of
and
that
Bob.
Bob.
But that one makes
Yeah.
Yeah, you ignore that.
Bill.
Anyway.
Yeah, might have. Yeah, maybe.
Anyway.
William and Bill.
That's it. That's the weird one.
Yeah. Yeah, well, because you got like kind of a... Have you met another Ned?
I've met a lot of Neds, actually.
Kelly?
I've met...
Whiskey?
Ned Kelly.
Ned Kelly.
Ned Whiskey.
I used to play footy with a Ned, and funny story. So my coach yelled out Ned, and he was waving, and it was a rainy day, so we kind of just heard the voice, and both of us ran off. And then it wasn't until we got to the interchange bench that the other Ned was like, "Oh shit, it wasn't me."
Dude, that's awesome.
So was he a Ned, or was he an Edward Ned?
I think it was a Ned.
Ned.
Wow.
But I don't know.
That's fascinating. Well, yeah, that's funny. Conversely, with Jack, which is like the most common name
Yeah.
ever made.
Yeah. Yes.
You met a lot of Jacks in your day.
There is literally a person in this town that has the exact full name as well.
Jack Thompson.
Jack
yeah.
Thompson. Really.
Exact
And then
same name.
the famous actor, Jack Thompson.
Exactly.
Do you know there's a famous actor with the
Oh,
same
no,
name
no,
as
you
you?
go through every single day in primary school, being like a young child,
And you were
I had
like-
all these teachers saying, "Do you know your name's the same as a famous actor?"
Like, who the fuck?
No. Why would I know that?
Fuck
I'm
is that?
7 years old. Leave me alone. Anyway,
Famous actor.
Yeah.
Famous Australian
yeah,
actor.
whatever.
From Molly, we got 3 from Molly. The first one is, what inspired you to start making music? Well, we kind of touched on some of these, but...
touched on that.
Yeah, just I don't know, I guess the fact that you can create sound that hasn't already existed before, that then allows people to intrigue on this journey when you play a song. Just, I kind of just, it's real deep, but the fact that when you listen to a song, you're enjoying life, you know, you could be smiling, you could be crying, but all of this emotion is spawned from just sound, which I find so cool.
Yeah, I love that.
That's such a good way to
Like,
answer that.
yes. Well done, Nick. That's very unique. Yeah, I love the idea of like art being like an outlet for emotion and stuff. So yeah, that's really awesome. Why does Flume inspire you so much?
Because Flume, he kind of breaks the barrier of, oh, you have to be in this genre, you have to do this type of style of music, you have to do this when in a live performance. You know, his music is like, you ask someone, oh, what genre is Flume? You can't say, because his music is just so out there. All the techniques they use for all his sound design and that is so unique, and it inspires me to make stuff that no one's ever heard before, which is why I love him so much.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, that's so true too. Flume is like his own genre. Like, you can hear a song for the first time ever and know that's Flume, like, within probably 10 seconds.
Yeah.
You hear, like, one of those weird noises that he throws in there that you're like, that was a bit weird. And then you listen to it 6 more times and you're, like, trying to make the noise because it's that ingrained in your head. He's such a unique... And he's Aussie.
Yeah,
that
that is
when they're
awesome.
homegrown.
Yeah.
We love Flume.
Dude, breaking the mold.
Breaking the mold.
What song are you most proud of?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Oh, so
It's
it's
an
actually
impossible question.
it's a very hard question. A song that I'm about to release, called "One for Me." So it's kind of just a electronic banger song. Got a bit of bass in it, got a bit of electric guitar. It's got my singing in as well. But that's a song that I spent genuinely like 3 months on. So
Oh, yeah.
probably a total of like 4 full days of working on that song. And that's a song that I felt like I really used my talent in and my knowledge rather than just make a song. I every single sound I worked on for hours and hours and hours. Every individual like automation or whatever I made sure was perfect. So when that song comes out, give that a listen, and that's probably my proudest achievement or proudest song that I've made so far.
Sweet.
That's good.
So you said it took you 4 days.
Probably 4 straight days of just working on it.
Where does that rank in relation to other songs you've made? Is that long?
That's probably like...
or is that about standard?
It's kind of... That would probably be extreme. Most songs, I reckon, I work on for... Well, it depends. Like, 2 full days for a complete song over like a period of 2 weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really don't know. When I start a song, I just go until I think it sounds good. So... Yeah, that's kind of a hard question.
Quickly jump in with a question of my own. What's the hardest element of making a song?
Actually finding the idea. So like, I could go right now and put, a genuine, like a boom, 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 and then create a song from that. But I don't like to do that simplistic stuff. So finding what the song is going to be, I guess like chords and melodies and stuff, it's that the idea behind it. It's not actually making the song, it's the idea.
Yeah, dude. I always find that, like, once again, not very creative, but if I'm trying to like make something, starting, I think is like the hardest bit. Like when you're trying to write something or something, like,
well, even like
blank,
this,
having the blank page.
even sometimes a podcast for us, it's sort of like we get here and we're like, fuck, what do we talk about?
But it only takes like one idea.
Yeah, then it's natural. It's like one thing turns into conversation. And then even stuff like we've started, go follow our TikTok, Thommo and Oz.
Dude, Jack's been grinding on the TikTok. You got to check it out.
So I was like, because I know TikTok's the platform at the moment. It's just kind of, you get the chance to blow up from nothing really easily on TikTok. Like our first TikTok on there has like 600 views or something, just out of nowhere.
It's crazy.
And just like, we were listening, I was re-listening to the podcast and I was watching some clips. I was like, they're kind of funny. I wonder if I can turn that into something like short and creative and stuff. But like, that process is fun. Like making something short and quick is fun. But again, the starting point, it's like you got to try and figure out, well, is this funny enough? Where do I start this conversation? How do I end it? But yeah, obviously starting a song just is exactly the same.
But you're exactly right. Once you get one idea, it just kind of flows out.
Yeah.
Snowball effect.
Yeah.
We got some good questions from our buddy Tynan.
Big T.
So, potential for music videos.
Ooh.
So yeah, this has always been a big thing for me.
And can we be in them?
Please. Can this be the start of a music video?
Yeah, we'll just turn this podcast into a music video. No, I love creating media. So I reckon my creative thing, just me being creative, started from cinematography. So like taking videos out the backyard and turning them into these cool edits and stuff. I used to do that years and years ago. And then making little short films at school with my friends. And I've always wanted to do a music video, but I feel like if I was to do that, I'd have to spend a good amount of time on making it actually what I want. But I wanted to do that with one of these songs that just didn't have the time and COVID. So, but in the future, yes, expect a music video for sure.
Exciting time.
So you'd be sort of the Billie Eilish director of it.
Kind of, yeah.
Because she directs like everything. Because she's like...
Yeah, would you be in your own music videos, or do you reckon you'd cast people?
I reckon it'd be one of those... it'd be one of those things, I reckon... It might be other people, and I'll just feature in it every now and again.
Yeah.
Like a cameo.
The old Stan Lee job.
Yeah. But I don't know. In the future, just
Dude,
potentially.
forward to that.
T says, I tried to get into music creation and couldn't stick it. What is his X factor that keeps you in it?
motivation. I couldn't tell you how many times I've gone, nah, I'm quitting. This is it. It's too hard. It's like yesterday 2 days ago when I finished the album, probably 10 minutes before I finished it, I'm like, geez, this is shit. It's not going to make it. But it's just those thoughts kind of overpower the rest of your thoughts, which is shit. So don't ever think like that. But just got to keep motivated. And the only way to do that, I reckon, the way that I've found is motivate yourself. You got to push yourself. If you really want it, you'll really get it. So
what's the things that like keep that motivation ticking? Is it like the knowing that you're going to be proud of the finished product, or is it like those little moments where you hear it and you're like, fuck, that sounds really good?
Yeah, I reckon both of those. When I love those moments when I've made something, I just sit back and go, geez, I made that. Like, that's cool. But also having people like, now I've got kind of a fan base. It's kind of just people I know, but it's even just people coming up to me going, oh, when's the new album? When's that? It's like people actually want it. So it's really cool to hear that and see that.
That's awesome. We get that on like a small scale where it's like, dude, when's the next podcast coming?
That, like, we've had one or maybe 2 or 3 people say that to us, and I can, going off that feeling of being like, wow, that someone is looking forward to something that we're creating. I can only imagine the scale that it's on for you.
Yeah. No, but self-motivation is the biggest thing.
Do you ever have to like take a break?
For sure. Oh, so the reason this album took a year is because I'll be sitting there making music for probably a week straight, and then all of a sudden I can't make a single thing, and I'll just go, I'm stuck. Like, my brain is just fried. So I'll just forget about music for, say, 2 weeks, come back, and then all of a sudden there'll be some masterpiece that I've made. But I think it's important to take breaks as well.
Yeah, well, mental clarity is like a fucking massive thing with this sort of... Even just any sort of creative kind of aspect of anything. Like, even with us, with this podcast, we've had a few breaks where it sort of just felt like this isn't it. Like
you're forcing it, kind of.
Yeah, and then comes back to... we're back in season 2 now, and it's just we're in kind of flow state where it's like, let's just push out some content, conversations flowing.
Do you do stuff to like... I'm going off the beaten trail here, but do you do specific things to like refuel the creative juices a little bit? Like, do you listen to other people's music or watch movies or look at paintings or...
So,
look at paintings.
I do a couple of those things I've kind of nailed down. I don't do them as much, but I used to longboard, so all day, every day. And one thing I do to, refuel my creative side is to go on Spotify, and I wouldn't look at my phone. I'd just touch numbers, and whatever playlist would come up, I'd shuffle that and go for an hour's ride into town, ride around, then come back. And so that way I've listened to music I've never heard of before. Might be bloody classical music I listened to one time. I was like, okay, I'll just listen to this. But that, I find getting new music in your system is like, oh, well, I've never heard that done before. I might take that on board and use it in the future. And the other thing as well is kind of the same idea, but I've got a whole heap of CDs in my room from Mum and Dad's collection. And every now and then I'll just pull a random CD out and play it. Hear some new music, get some new inspiration. Which is kind of like getting a break from the electronic side as well.
That's a cool thing for an artist, because I feel like a lot of people these days are like very one-sided with music. Like, you won't be prepared to listen to anything else, but having like a broad spectrum, like, that's sick.
That's awesome. We got to get some N3DDY T vinyl.
Yeah.
All right.
Again, in the future.
And the last one from T is, love your bikes too, mate. Why 2 wheels over 4?
Oh, cheers, Tynan. Appreciate it.
So just preface, if people don't know you don't have a car, you're a motorbike man. You've got your road bike and a dirt bike.
Yep.
Go for it.
Well, being on a bike, I can't explain the feeling unless you've done it, but it's like you are the bike. And especially on a road, being in a car, you're surrounded by a metal box. Being on a bike, there's nothing around you. You're sitting on this little thing, and every little movement you do with your body controls the bike. So if you do that, your bike will veer off the road.
That scares me.
But just, I find it very relaxing because you have to really concentrate. And so I'm not thinking about anything other than keeping myself alive and riding this bike properly. And it's kind of just a good way to get out of the world, I guess. It's a good outlet. But it's really fun as well. It's one of those things. Dad's told me multiple times. His outlet is to ride his dirt bike because all he's concentrating on is where he's going, and controlling the bike instead of got to do 8 hours of work tomorrow and I'm bloody pissed off because work's shit.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just a good outlet, I reckon.
Yeah, it's hard to compare it to, as you're saying, driving a car is a completely different experience, but it's sort of like that. And you can only do it on certain nights. I've had this conversation with Oz a million times. Those windows down type of nights. Night driving with the windows down, like sun setting. Like that feeling is different to anything else you get in a car.
When it's like summer and it's still a bit warm at 8 o'clock.
So I can only imagine that, like riding a bike could be... But again, as I said, I couldn't do that shit. I'd be terrified.
Not for me, man.
I would just be so scared of doing that.
Yeah.
That's it. Sweet. Well, that was it for the Insta questions. I actually wrote down a couple, if that's all right.
Oh, go for it. You're the host.
Quick fire round, Ned.
Yep.
What's your favourite movie?
This is a classic in our family, but Dude, Where's My Car?
Fucking great movie.
Can't beat it.
Dude, so quotable.
Yeah.
What's your favourite colour?
Red.
Bang. What's your favourite food?
I'll stick by this. It's always been lasagna.
Great meal. Nan makes the best lasagna. So does Mum. On par with each other.
Not a big fan of lasagna. Who's your favourite current artist or musician?
Flume / also San Holo.
Sweet.
Both Aussies? San
Holo's Dutch.
Great name though.
Search him up if you don't know who he is.
Dude, Han Solo. How have you grown as a maker of music since the last album?
Great question.
My knowledge has grown a lot. Like expanding on music a lot more rather than, I don't know, my knowledge, I reckon, I'd say knowledge has expanded a lot over the last album.
Sweet. Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Ooh. Hard here.
This is a very hard question.
Rolling Loud, Coachella.
Hopefully, honestly, in my own house, with a lady friend, with a little studio making music. That's all I want.
Fucking answer.
Nice and simple.
All right, I just thought of another thing that I don't even know how we missed this. The tattoo tour.
Oh, yeah.
So you're definitely a fan of the tattoos. You've got
Yep.
6 on your hands. That's bad counting. No, that is 6.
6.
And then I know you've got one there,
and
you've got another one
on the inside of my arm.
So give us the hand. I'll have to get a photo of your hand to get the proper photo. Of them, but so you got the big one up the top, which is
obviously it's Flume.
It's Flume's. Is it
Skin? What's it called? Skin Companion Ep 1. So that's the album cover. It's missing the chain and the stem of the flower, but it's pretty much just the exact same thing.
And then you've got one on all your fingers.
Yep.
2 on one of them.
I'll do it really quick. So the Mighty Boosh.
Show.
Syndicate. He's a YouTuber. Daft Punk. Spider-Man. Avicii. This is my best friend Jacko. This is his initials. On my arm in here, I've got the Cheshire Cat. And then on my foot, I've got Stay Vibrant with a little logo there. So all kind of music related, kind of emotion based, I don't know. So
I'm just going to go back to the in 10 years question. Are you going to be fully covered in tattoos?
Yeah.
Or what's the tattoo journey look like?
I always said that I'd just keep it nice and simple. So with all my tattoos, they're all going to be on the left side of my body. Originally, I was just going to go on my arm, but I've expanded to my foot. But no, I won't be covered. It'll just be just a lot of little small ones, I reckon, on my arm, and that'll be it. I'm not going to be covered head to toe with them.
Love that.
Clip that.
Well,
that's awesome.
Is there anything else you want to throw in here? Anything you want to talk about album wise or?
I had a couple of questions as well.
Of course, man.
I only want to ask a few of them because there was a few good ones there.
You had a story up on the DJ Netty account. People ask you some questions as well.
Seems to be gone, but I think
You can, yeah. I think you can still see him.
Oh, here we go.
So if you don't follow Ned as well, make sure you follow him, DJ N3DDY T on Instagram and on Spotify. Make sure you follow his Spotify. You don't want to miss the album drop. You don't want to be that guy or girl. You don't. That would be embarrassing.
Looking at these questions, I've kind of already been covered. But one of the questions I've been asked, I forget who asked it, but it was in person. Was why? It was like, what inspires your music in terms of like emotion? Because if you know me and my music, it's very emotion based, and I like to think that all of my songs come from an emotion, like a point in time or whatever. So with the L Word, for example, all of those songs were based on how I was feeling. I made them in the moment that, you know, I was feeling that emotion. And then the goal is to, when you go back and listen to it, you can feel that emotion and feel what I was thinking. So with the new album, there's probably 4 songs in there that if you really listen to, like the lyrics and all that, even like the chord structure, you can kind of get out what I was feeling at the time. So for any deep listeners who really want to get into this music, listen to the lyrics and try and, you know, work out what I was feeling, because I went through a lot of shit and I like to put that shit into music. So hopefully you guys will, you know, love it. But that's the one thing that I love about my music is the emotion that I put into it. So if you get the chance to actually dive into it, definitely listen to the lyrics and try and work it out beyond music.
Yeah, great. We can't wait for the next album, that's for sure. And we don't have a release date yet, but it's soon.
Very, very soon.
Very, very soon. So I want to throw you on the spot now. Don't know if you listen to the podcast much. We do a little segment at the end.
Yep.
We do a couple of things.
Yep.
We do Legend of the Week
And
a
beef of the week.
So if you don't have one right now, I'm happy to jump in first. So Legend of the Week, Oz, I'm going to thank you personally for this one.
Oh, wow. That's big.
Really good coffee. This is an iced coffee from a little supermarket known as Woolworths.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really good.
Yeah, I mean,
It's just, they've really nailed it. It's in a little carton, so you look a little bit fancy when you're drinking it.
yeah, I think it was just one of those things that was like on special, and it's like $4 a carton or whatever. But like,
It's great. It's really
fucking
good coffee.
man.
So
Yeah.
that's my legend of this week is
good shit.
really good coffee.
Yeah, I had a couple of legends just from like the last, I don't know, couple of months when we haven't been
Yeah.
podcasting, but because I've been getting into like Nirvana and listening to their stuff. I think one of my legends is Kurt Cobain.
Yeah. Legend.
Fucking legend,
Absolute legend.
dude. Yeah. He inspire you at all, Ned?
Oh, yeah. A lot of that grungy stuff is like, I like to let anger out, and that's Kurt Cobain does that so well.
Fucking good sound,
Yeah.
dude. Lost him
just,
too soon.
just jumping on that as well. If you guys have never seen, I know you know what I'm about to say. That the performance, Nirvana did a performance live where they were forced to use a backing track,
And they just did not care.
And
They said,
they-
fuck you.
and they just acted like they were swinging around the guitars, and Kurt
then
Cobain
kept-
was singing like
We
6
are entertainers.
It's incredible. Go treat yourself and go watch that. It's phenomenal.
That's awesome. And my other one was Matt Stone and Trey Parker. Do you guys know who they are? They made South Park.
Oh,
They're the
yeah,
creators.
yeah.
legends.
Yeah, I'm not really huge on South Park, but I watched this documentary. It's called 6 Days to Air. I don't know if you guys are familiar.
I think I've heard the concept of what they do.
'Cause
This
it's
with
Sou-
South Park.
Yeah, they like write, animate,
Oh,
do all the
yeah,
episode in
In
6
6
days.
Yeah,
And then
that's intense.
yeah, so they'll like deliver the episode or something like an hour before it's going to go out. And it's so
Jesus.
fucked up.
That's
So it's
crazy.
like, yeah, it just reminds me of like Unity when it was like, I work better under pressure. It's like I would leave it to the last minute and be like, dude, this is my process.
the whole show.
Yeah, dude.
Shout out, yeah. Shout out.
Yeah.
No, Ned, on the spot.
My legend of the week. This is I can't believe it hasn't been said yet. Very underrated, but Thommo and Oz.
Oh,
So
good
yeah,
answer.
Oh,
Good
getting
answer.
brownie points here.
he's coming back. He's gonna get another episode.
No, but when I used to do night field 7 till 3 in the morning, and it's such a shit shift. It kills you as a human. But I was allowed to wear my earphones, which is a savior. And you know, it's 8 hours long ass time to just put shit on the shelf. So to chuck a podcast on, and with a mask on especially, I could laugh and smile and no one would know. But it got me through so many rough nights. And it's a good podcast. I've been promoting it to a lot of my mates, and everyone goes, "Yeah, I really recommend it." So,
thank you, Ned. That's really
We
sweet.
appreciate that. All right, now just to ruin the vibe.
Now beef. What's pissed you off
What's your
this
beef
week?
for the week? Oz, you got something to lead us off with a beef?
Yeah. I've been kind of trying to lose weight again, trying to get back into the grind of that. So I'm beefing with the slow grind.
Yeah.
Of just trying to lose weight. It's fucking hard, man.
It is.
It sucks. But you got to do it.
Also on that, I would also like to just beef with how good food tastes, because that is a big reason that it's hard to lose weight. Fucking food,
dude.
Well, I think my beef for this week is going to be, I had one, but now I don't have one. I don't know. I've been pretty happy my beef this week is my sleeping pattern. My body clock just decides it wants to wake up some mornings, and I really don't appreciate that. So I'm beefing with my body clock.
Nice one, dude.
There's a bit of a controversial one, I reckon. But I've been beefing with rain lately.
Ooh.
As someone who likes to be outside a lot and just be out in the weather, I hate rain. It's good on some occasions. Like, don't get me wrong, I love rain sometimes, but right now I've been hating it, especially on the motorbike. I can't do anything on the bloody bike. But it's just been pissing me off. So that's my beef.
Good
Fair
beef.
enough.
Yeah, we've had our run-ins with the weather before.
Oh.
I've had a beef with cold mornings and cold
Beef with
nights.
hot weather.
Yeah, hot
Actually,
weather.
I've beef with every
The full
single
gamut,
form of
yeah.
the weather that you can have beef with. Well, that's about it. Unless you got anything important, Oz.
No,
Yeah,
that
you wanna
sounds-
jump on.
Just before we go, thanks for having me on, boys.
Oh, of course, mate. Always, anytime.
Make sure to check out the socials. Get ready for the album release. It's going to be a big one. I'm very, very excited for everyone to hear it all.
We will definitely keep the page posted. Our page. We'll definitely put Ned's Instagram and stuff everywhere, so you can. I think it's DJ Neddy T on everything.
Yep.
DJ N3DDY T.
Yep. 3 because I'm cool.
3 because he's cool. We'll link in the description and everything. And then while you're at it, just go follow us on everything as well.
Good
Twitter,
note.
Instagram, Thommo and Oz, TikTok now. Get onto it.
Yeah, dude.
We're in season 2 now. It's real big stuff. It's big time. Big time.
Sink. Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, Ned.
Oh, no worries.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Ned.
Thanks for having me. It's good fun.
It's a pleasure as always.
Always. We will see you all. Actually, one last thing. If Ned's ever so polite, and I'm going to put him right on the spot here, maybe the outro song might possibly be a snippet of the new album.
Yeah, why not?
There you go.
Beast.
So
Well done.
here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Gotta watch
that
it
one
all
out
the way
of the bag.
through now.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Appreciate this new snippet of the greatest young artist of this generation, DJ Neddy T. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Sad to see when you are here right next to me. Why do you try and run from me? Why can't I find the relief?